This is Chicago. Doors open on the left at Chicago.
Welcome to Chicago. Welcome to Chicago. Welcome to Chicago.
This is Chicago. Doors open on the left at Chicago.
Welcome to Chicago.
Welcome to Chicago. You're tuning into the TCSF podcast with Big Z and JC. Coming straight to you from the 606 Media Studios, powered by True Chicago Sports Fans. This is episode 299. The Bulls have breaking news. They fired everyone, and we're going to talk all about that and some more. But, we'll dive into everything that makes Chicago great just in a bit. So remember, this is 606 Media, your ultimate source for all things Chicago. Don't forget to swing by 606media.com to snag your exclusive official TCSF podcast t-shirt and for the Love of Sports merchandise line. We got Ivan in the house. He's going to be with us for a little bit before he goes on, does a show with Big Steve. If you're watching,
Big Steve's on tomorrow, but I do have to take off for like 30, 45 minutes.
Understood. If you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch, go ahead, smash and subscribe. Hit that subscribe button. If you're listening on your 5-star, I'm jumping all over the place. If you're listening on your favorite podcast app, leave us a 5-star review. It means the world to us. Check out the rest of the shows. Podskater with myself, Big Z. There is one new episode up there, and I'm editing a couple more. So go ahead and check out the rest of the 606 Mile lineups. Let's strap it in. Get ready for an unforgettable ride through the best of Chicago sports and culture and beyond. And we're breaking news with the Chicago Bulls firing AK and ME. That is Arturas Carnosaurus, whatever you call him. He's fired anyway. It don't matter. And Mark Eversley, the puppet that you never saw.
Not gonna work here anymore anyway.
Yeah, right. No one needs to know what they're doing. Arne Carnichovis and Mark Eversley are gone. The front office is gone. The Bulls fired them this afternoon. Why it happened? A record of 224, 254. So over 6 seasons, they had one playoff appearance in 2022. Current record right now is 29-49, 12th in the East. They missed the playoffs 4 straight years. Dumb trades, dumb signings. And finally, Michael Reinsdorf said, today was a day. Enough was enough. And they're going to hit another reset button on this franchise. Fans have been calling about this. Ivan sent me a post of someone putting a billboard up. We no longer see red. Fire everyone. Again, we're just tired. We've been tired of talking about the Bulls being middle of the road, barely making the play-in. Just for what? For what? The final straw was literally, in my opinion, was how they handled the Jaden Ivey situation and the pressure. Poor roster decisions. This trade deadline getting 12 second-round picks. It was time for ownership to step in and say, enough is enough. These guys got to go. They were not it. Go ahead, boys.
Ivan, I'll let you go first.
No, it's just about time. Like, there's nothing more to say. Like, it was years too late. Mistake on top of mistake. The only good thing they did was to hire Billy Donovan. The only good thing I feel like they've done is hiring Billy Donovan. They got lucky, with a Buzelis, bringing in Giddey. That maybe a few things there, but that's just not enough. It's just not enough. You drafted Pat Williams 4th overall, and then how bad he's been, and then you offer him a $90 million contract, and you trade away guys like, well, first of all, Kobe should have been traded away earlier, right? So more mistakes. But you trade away a guy like Ayo, who was gelling, who was working. There was a 3-headed monster right there, Giddey, Ayo, and Buzelis. I felt like they were building. And all of a sudden, Ayo's out of the picture. And then, you hear Billy like, oh, they never consulted me on this, on these moves. It's like, what? It's like you're not a part of that group. You're the head coach of the basketball team. Your philosophy needs certain athletes, right? You're not even in communications with your GM and his boss with how they want to build this basketball team. Like that's just plain old Bulls communication. Like this has been the story for years now. It's been the story for years. During Jordan, post Jordan, during Rose, post Rose. and it'll continue until I don't know something falls into their lap and they get lucky again. Maybe I'm not sure, but right now they have to focus on going and get whoever is the best basketball mind out there to run the organization. Unless you want to give Billy, a promotion and control or something like that. I don't know how else to. I don't know where else this franchise is going to go. I don't know where they're going to go. I don't know what they're going to do and who they're going to attract to come in here and save this. Because it's more than a sinking ship. Like, this is underwater. You know what I mean? This has been this way for over a couple decades. I mean, we get lucky here. D Rose, you had those runs, but it's always short and short-lived and done. That's it. There's nothing sustained about this organization success-wise.
JC.
Well, I mean, I guess I'll just start with it's about damn time. We've been talking about this for forever now, and it's just disgusting. What has been going on with the Bulls is just absolutely horrible. I mean, they have been getting trashed for at least the past 2 years. All right. When we should have let, guys go earlier, whether it's Caruso, whether, it's some of these older veterans, sorry, forgive me, I'm blanking on the name of the center, who we let go this year. Vooch. But like, how many years did we talk about like letting Vooch go? And then like, finally we do it. And what do we get back? Jack shit. We get a second. Come on. It's one of those where like, yes, okay, I will give the front office a smidgen of credit for getting giddy. But other than that, what they have done is absolutely gut this team down to nothing. Okay, you might be able to find some guys in the second round with some of these 12 picks that you have, but there's no guarantee. We talk about hit rates, right? When you get to the second round of the NBA draft, the hit rate on a guy is like 18%, 20%. Like, that's unacceptable. Like, even guys in the first round, like the first 5 picks, like there's like a 48, 43% chance that you hit on these guys. Like, we've seen drafts before where, the guy who gets picked 3rd overall, the guy who got picked 1st, 2nd, and 5th and 4th work out, but the guy who got picked 3rd is a bust. You see that all the time. And I don't know if the Bulls' philosophy is, hey, with 12 picks, like, we might actually hit on a guy. You know what I mean? Like, the more darts you have, the more chances you have to hit. But at the same time, you are giving up top tier talent, right? With Caruso, with Lonzo, with Vucevic, with some of these guys that were on our team, right? We had guys that were all-star players, and we got second round picks. That just tells me that the rest of the league absolutely disrespected the Bulls. They did not believe that the Bulls were worth offering fair value trades. They basically sat there and said, no, we're going to wait, and you're going to give it to us for nothing. And you're going to take it because you're idiots.
Very much so. Idiots. They acquired some, the trades this year. Dario Saric and draft compensation from Sacramento and draft compensation from Cleveland, a three-team trade. That's what we're talking about. They waived Javon Carter, homegrown guy that was a glue guy that Billy would just refuse to play. They acquired Mike Conley, and then they traded him right away with Kobe White. Mike Conley gets bought out or released, and Kobe's over there in with the Hornets. You acquired Usam Dang and Colin Sexton, and then you waive Usam Dang, who had like 36 points this past week. What am I doing? Yeah, he had 36 against the Rockets, I think. Yeah, 36 against the Rockets. He had 17 against the Grizzlies, 9 and 7 rebounds respectively, and 10 assists. The kid had a triple-double on April 1st. He's 6'9", playing for the Milwaukee Bucks. He's 22 years old. I'm pretty sure we could have used a 6'9" that gets 10 rebounds a game. Isn't that what we're paying Patrick freaking Williams that much money for, to give us a double a night, 15 and 15 or 10 and 10?
We're paying Patrick Williams to play
18
5
million
minutes a night and get us 3 points a game. It's unbelievable what we
But
allowed.
we knew what he was. We knew what he was when we drafted him. We knew he was a sixth man who barely got any playing time. And then we're like, oh, we'll take this diamond in the rough. Diamond in the rough.
But that's Arturas's whole time. He thought he was smarter than everybody fucking else, and he would even. There was no relationships. You know what I mean? Like there was no Arturas to Eversley to Billy. There was none of that. It was
Right.
individual persons trying to work together, I guess, but working separately, and Arturas being a dictator. That's the gist of what we've gotten so far. Arturas wanted this in his image to the point where his failures were being covered up by him or being forced upon the team and Billy by him because he didn't want to admit the shit.
Now we know why Mark Eversley was never present. He was probably not allowed. He was probably locked in the closet. Artur's got the key on the desk, and you're not getting out there. I'm gonna slide some Uncrustables to you, and that's all you're getting. Definitely was not allowed to talk to the media, and it's come out, through other sources that he was not making these deals. He disagreed with a lot of these deals.
Well, I'm going to say this. As far as I'm concerned, Billy Donovan can take a walk as well. I understand it's not his fault. It's not, the talent that he was given. He had talent there for a little while. He had Lonzo. He had Caruso. He had,
Did he really have Lonzo?
Oh, he had Lonzo for 15 games before he got hurt. But he still had 3 All-Stars on there, right? 3 potential.
Still had Zach. Still had
Mar, Vooch, Kobe.
Lamar.
I mean, you had some players.
And to me, I understand. Billy's system, this, that. I don't give a shit about your system anymore. All right, you have shown that whoever is on your team, your basic ass fucking system isn't working. All right. And to me at this point, I understand he might be great with younger players that will buy into his system. And he wasn't really given that in the beginning of his career. But to me, when a new GM is coming in, when a new vice executive president, whatever is coming in, they're going to want to have their own coach.
As they should.
And I understand the Bulls, owners, they may like Billy. I don't give a shit. If I'm coming in as a GM, I'm hiring my guy, and Billy can take his ass and take a walk.
Well, he was, linked to North Carolina, but it looks like that ship has sailed. Looks like they're who they hired, the former Nuggets coach. You guys saw that?
It was somebody who was former NBA. Supposedly won a ship 25.
It was a Nuggets coach.
23, 23.
Coach. I think I got it on my DMs here. Because the DMs just started blowing up after all this happened. It's been a crazy afternoon. I guess I lost it. But going back to the dumbest move ever, you had Io. Again, he doesn't have the numbers he had on the Bulls, but also because he had to start on the Bulls. There was no one left to play on the Bulls. So when he was on the Bulls, he was averaging 15 points, 3 rebounds, 3.6 assists. Right now, he's averaging 13.9, 4.4, and 3.6 off the bench. This is off the bench.
Yeah, but that's the other thing is now that Io is in a system that works better for his game, he's playing a lot better.
Yeah, because his game is
allowing him to shoot mid-range shots, which Billy Donovan is shoot threes or get layups and dunks.
Yep.
Billy's system does not allow for mid-game, which is another reason why Billy needs to take a walk. Because you're putting your own players in bad positions, in bad system that doesn't work for their game. Imagine what we're seeing with Io. If he was a starter on our team, he might be averaging 25, 30 right now. Because he'd be allowed to play his style of game that works best for him, which is a mid-range jump shot game.
Yeah, he's very much like a more athletic DeMar. Obviously, DeMar's a little older. Io can definitely his handles has gotten a lot better year after year. He's put himself in the gym. He's definitely matured into the player that we wanted him to be, and you ship him off. Mike Malone's the guy's name. Mike Malone. Yeah, this is just what the Bulls have been doing over and over and over. And now what I don't want is what the Bears used to do. They have a sitting lame duck coach, and then you hire the GM and then the president of operations in the wrong order, right? You hire your president of operations, he hires his GM, and then he hires his coach, right? You have a roster that's going to be all free agents after this year. Anthony Simmons is going to be a free agent. Colin Sexton, Zach Collins, all going to be free agents. Gershon Usabi, whatever his name is going to be gone. Nick Richards is going to be gone. You're going to be left with Leonard Miller, which has an option. Modest Buzelis is going to be here. Rob Gillingham, that's another option. Trey Jones will be here. Jalen Smith will be here. Isaac Okoro has 1 more year. Patrick Williams has 3 more years after this year.
Oh, you got to get rid of him. No. It's got to be done.
Wait.
Cannot. Yeah, I don't give a fuck if you're eating get him off the team. That's it. There's no other option you have. Even if Billy sticks around, right? Even if, like, let's say they elevate him to a front office position, or they bring up Wes Unseld or whatever off the bench, and they put him as whatever they do. Pat Williams cannot be a part of this organization anymore. It's been done. It was a slap in the face when he got that contract, knowing that you made a mistake and you doubled down, and now you're fired. He has to be gone, just like Acme, gone.
Yeah, he should be packing his bags along with him. Definitely. There's no reason to have him. If you're going to do a whole rebuild again, you can't have this any baggage from a previous organizational dysfunction that they had, right? So if you're bringing all these young guys to come in, you're going to probably be bringing up a young coach to be a placeholder until this team's ready to win, and then you go get your killer coach. Because right now, this team is not ready to win. It's not ready to win for another 2, maybe 3 years. Because the NBA is a little bit faster, right? It's a little bit faster than baseball and hockey. But I don't see what the Bulls can do as far as let's turn this around really quickly, or are you going to be trading some of these players to get more draft capital in the first round in future years and just continue to have a domino effect of first rounders like an OKC? So in my opinion, go get somebody from OKC, maybe Dunleavy from the Golden State, somebody from Boston Celtics. Those are winning organizations that year after year make great trades to supplement the team that they're trying to win with. And if they're not doing that, they're fleecing the rest of the NBA by trading away these veterans that are a year away from just being bust.
Yeah, I was just about to name Mike Dunleavy as a guy to keep an eye on, because he was a former Bull as well.
That's it.
And you know what? Who better to bring in than a guy that played for the Bulls to bring this franchise back? And you know what? He's been with a team since 2002. He's been with the Warriors, it looks like. So again, that's a long time that he's been with, the Warriors, and seen and been around a winning organization.
Yeah, but also you look like he is kind of handicapped with the contracts that he has with Draymond and Steph and so forth, and he had to get rid of Clay. There's been a lot of stuff that.
Okay, but what has Clay really done since he got traded?
No, I agree. He's had one. His first year was good, and after that,
what we need someone to look at our team and say, "Hey, you're not cutting it. I'm going to get rid of you." Whether it had been Caruso or Zach or some of these guys, like if Dunleavy is willing to get rid of these guys a year or two before they bust, I'm okay with that. But I'd rather them get rid of a guy and get the proper compensation than sitting there and holding on to a guy like, oh no, we're playing for the play-in. Like, we're actually going to make to the championship somehow. Like we know, like, if we're barely making the play-in, we're not going to make it to the NBA championship. Stop playing games and get serious. And the one thing I will say is, you know what? With this, yes, I understand Pat Will has an absolutely terrible contract, right? But when you look at everything else, we have a wide open contract where we can actually go out and sign some guys and bring in some talent, which I understand, like, you know, it may be a horrible free agency year, but even still, like, you know, you bring in some vets on 1 year deals that, you know, to get you to the next year free agency. And we understand, like, look, we're playing again for picks. We are playing for first round, like, lottery. This is what we are doing. We need, like, just admit you're going full rebuild.
Yes.
Enough of this AK BS of, well, we're making the play-ins, so we're going to keep fighting to make the play-ins. Like, that's not good enough. Like, I would rather be like the Suns, blow up the entire roster and start from scratch, and in 3 years from now have a young athletic team that can compete and gel together and play well together.
JC, are you trading Modest then? Because you're saying 3 years from now. We're building for 3 years from now.
Listen,
right?
Modest will not be happy with losing for the next 3 years. So
Mhm.
it's one of those where I don't want to trade him. I would straight up go to him and be like, look, you are my franchise. Like, I do not want to trade you, but I fully understand that you do not want to be here for the next 3 years of what we're about to go through. And that's why I said, like, with the salary cap that we're going to have, look, signs, I understand we have to field 12 guys, like, and that's like the roster. But literally, I'm going out there and I'm signing vets for like $1 million a piece, $4 million a piece for 1 year. That's it. That's all I'm offering is 1 year deals. And we'll with those 12 draft picks that we have, you know, whether I trade up, whether I trade down, whatever I'm doing, like, that's how I'm filling my roster. Because at the end of the day, what I want to do is I want to keep that money available to sign some free agents, maybe not this coming off season, but the following off season.
Well, looking at next year, they have 65 million available. They're gonna have a lottery pick, top 10, right? And then if the Blazers hold on to make the
I was gonna say
playoffs,
Portland, yeah.
they'll get a top 14 selection. So 2 in the top 14. You also bring in, you have Buzelis and Giddey, right? So now you have 4 building blocks and $65 million available to do some shopping. It can be a quick rebuild if you have the right GM and president, right? You know, obviously, you know, you were talking about the Dunleavy, who works for Bob Myers. What about Oklahoma City? We're talking about Rob Hennigan and other people there. Maybe Win Sullivan. You got a couple of people that work for the Thunder that are, you know, those crazy minds that got all that stuff going. Indiana Pacers, right? They just had they had their player all-star go down, and they're going to be at the bottom and get a good draft pick. And next year they're going to be crazy to deal with. Maybe somebody out of Miami Heat or even the Boston Celtics, like I mentioned. Those are winning organizations that have stability at the top, and they breed the next wave of guys. Ivan?
No, I mean, you said it. That's how you would hope that they do it, you know. But like, again, with this franchise, lucked into Michael Jordan, you know, they were able, you know, to finally bring him some help, you know, about middle of his career and win titles. But, you know, again, it's like once those players were gone, there was no real plan. There was no real plan. And nobody, like, what both Jerrys didn't see is like, hey, nobody wants to fucking come here and try to rebuild in the shadow of Michael Jordan's legacy. And
That's a problem.
they arrogantly were like, oh, well, we're the Bulls, we're the organization, you know, we won the team won the 6 championships with. No, that's not how it was. So if we could find some stability some way, somehow, just like when we had Tibbs and with Garpax or that there was stability there. Even
Mhm.
though it ended, there was stability there. Who would obviously Derek, who knows, but there just really hasn't been any type of stability where you trust the people running the organization. But I think ever since those '90s teams, in mid '80s,
And I'm tired of the whole like nobody wants to come play here because of Jordan, right? Like, yes and no. Like, I'm tired of that. It's
going to
been
be 30 years already.
right. It's been 30 years.
No, I'm talking about like right after nobody wanted to do.
Oh,
that.
yeah, definitely.
Right after you weren't getting fucking free agents or anybody coming here.
No, but that's also because I mean, like, and I don't necessarily put that on Jordan. I put that on like,
That was Krause.
you got rid of Pippen, you got rid of Jordan, you got rid of. So like, why would anybody really want to come here? Like, what's the draw? Like, you know what I mean? Like, again, what's the draw right now to this team? Like, other than Giddey and Buzelis, like, why would anybody want to come here right now? Like, other than money, like, you look at the roster and it's like, I'm not going to win there. Like, why would I go there? Like, if I have the chance between playing on the Lakers and playing on the Bulls right now, or playing like on Cleveland or some of these teams that are going to make the playoffs, like, I'd rather go to those teams.
Yeah, I'm looking at the players that will be free agents after this season. Trae Young, point guard at 27. He's going to be 28.
Okay. Don't need him. We have Giddey.
Yeah, I know. We have Giddey. I'm looking at all the ages, right? I don't want anybody over 30, right? You don't want Zach LaVine coming back because he's a ball hog. James Harden, ball hog. CJ McCollum, way too old. Middleton, too old. Porzingis, I'm good on Porzingis. He doesn't play. Andrew Wiggins is 31. John Collins, no. Anthony Simmons, who we have, who's injured, has not really played for us. Do you sign, a damaged bag of goods? No, you're not. You're gonna let him walk. He's making $25 million and not even playing.
Yeah. So here's some guys I'm looking at.
Go ahead.
Jalen Duren, center, Detroit. He's restricted.
Yeah.
He's 22. Austin Reeves, shooting guard, Lakers. Yeah, like you said, Trae Young, but we don't need point guard. Norman Powell, out of Miami. He's 32. Yeah, Harden, no. LeBron James, no thanks.
What do you think about Ichimura? Is that somebody you would want? Rui Ichimura, power forward, 28, out of the Lakers. He's going to be unrestricted. He has bird rights.
How old is he?
28.
I mean, that's still acceptable of an age, but
I would say as a power forward at 28, he will give you, sign him for 3 years. Again, be a bridge guy as you continue to draft. I mean, Mitchell Robinson's another one from the Knicks, 28 center. We need some size because our rebound is atrocious, and a lot of it is because of Patrick Williams not able to do his job. Everybody else is pretty older, or just the talent level is not there. I mean, Kobe's going to be available, but do we need another ball hog? We saw that doesn't work with Giddey and Modest.
No, yeah, I'm looking at like Porzingis, like Vucevic will be available again.
Ayo will be available. I'll be unrestricted.
Out of Oklahoma, but he's on a team option. So like I said, I mean, there's some guys out there, but like to me, again, I'm looking at like some older vets, like bringing some guys. And again, this is also up to who's going to be our coach, right?
What kind
Because
of basketball?
at the end of the day, it comes down to that as well.
Definitely. That's going to be the biggest issue, is who is going to be coming into the front office, and that's going to take a while. And then what coaches will be available? Are they going to go and elevate a college coach into the NBA? Will they want somebody that is a veteran coach to be a transition coach, or are they going to go and get an assistant off someone else's staff and let him grow with these new kids and maybe a new way of thinking and new style, just going young all the way around? It's going to be a a learning experience for us as Bulls fans are going through another rebuild in the last 30 years. Just
Yeah, I mean with the 12 draft picks and the, like I said, I would find some older, like 32 to 34-year-old veterans that I can offer 1-year deals that, where I can look at 2027 free agency and see what's out there, like to get the real rebuild going. Because like I said, I mean, looking at this year's rebuild, I don't, let's see, NBA free agents 2027.
I mean, we're stacked at guard. Dillingham is still gonna be here. He's 21. That's a good building block. You got Trey Jones for another 2 years, another good building block.
Yeah, here you go. 2027 NBA free agency class is expected to be historic. Nikola Jokic, Kyrie Irving, Giannis, Luka. So I mean, right there, like that's what I'm holding on to my salary cap for. I am not spending any salary cap, and I'm waiting for 2027, and I'm going to try and bring in 2 of those big names.
I mean, Giannis will be at that point 34. So he's kind of a cherry on top of an organization that's ready to win. Jokic would be the same thing. Karl Anthony Towns would be 33.
Okay, but say like if you could sign a Giannis and a Luka and pair them up with Giddey and Buzelis.
I mean, if you're playing just NBA 2K, I think that works. I don't really think that works if them playing both together on the same court. I think Giannis, I mean, he'll obviously be slowing down, and Jokic already is a slow MFer running up and down the court. I would really say you would need, some bigs, but I would go after maybe Karl Anthony Towns. Let me see who else is on this one. Nope, everyone else is going to be almost 40 at that point. I mean, I know what you're saying, but at the same time, you've got to supplement the small forward and power forward positions. That's going to give you, I don't know, it's going to be hard to gel because right now these 2 young bucks are running gun in.
All right, so here we go. So 2027, Steph Curry, Chris Dunn, Miles McBride, Davion Mitchell are all point guards. Shooting guards, Deontay DiVincenzo,
Yep.
Josh Green, Tyler Hero, John Kennard, Karis LeVert, Jordan Poole, Klay Thompson. Small forwards, RJ Barrett, Sadiq Bey, Dylan Brooks, Jimmy Butler, Sidy Casico, who's 23, DeMar DeRozan, Haywood Highsmith, DeAndre Hunter, Clendon Johnson, Derek Jones, Kawhi Leonard, Najee Marshall, Isaac Okoro, Michael Penix Jr., Max Struss. Get into the power forwards, Miles Bridges, Brandon Clark, Cameron Johnson, Kyle Kuzma, Jake LaRiva, Jabari Walker, Grant Williams. Centers, Goga Badats, Musa Diabat, Luke Garza, Taj Gibson, Paul Reed, Jalen Smith, Jonas.
Taj is like 50. Taj Gibson played with.
Oh yeah, Taj is 42. Like
yeah.
Then you get into like restricted free agents and stuff like that. But I mean, I'm just throwing some names out there, like restricted free agents.
Oh, there's a lot.
There's a bunch of guys that like 23, 24, 24, 25.
Yeah, they're coming off their rookie contracts.
Yeah.
So like Derek Lively would be somebody I would want, definitely. I mean, there's a lot.
Derek Lively, what position is that?
Center.
Yeah, center. 23-year-old. Victor Wembanyama would be 23.
He's not going anywhere. Yeah.
No, but like I said, I'm literally looking at this restricted free agent stuff, and like those are the guys like, okay, I would throw a contract out there that somebody can't afford. You know what I mean?
I mean, you're gonna have the cap space. You might as well.
Right.
Might as well.
And that's what I'm saying. Like to me, I'm waiting for 2027. I would make sure like whatever I'm spending next year, like we understand, like we are going to suck. We are going to play for the lottery pick, and we are going to pick up some of these restricted free agent young players and offer them contracts that nobody else can offer.
I definitely think 2026 will be a year where you pick up veterans, like you said, that can be supplemental off the bench and kind of be mentors for these young guys, good enough to play, to be competitive, but making sure that you lose. I mean, if that's the case, re-sign Yuki and Mac McClung.
Yeah.
Ivan, final thoughts before you jump off, or are you going to stay for the Cubs?
No. Final thoughts. I don't really have much. I just whatever happens next, just make sure you have communication at least between your head coach and your GM and your president, if that's where you're going again.
Hey, if the White Sox can do it, I have faith that the Bulls can do it. This much faith. Just a little bit.
It's the difference.
And then they may be ready to sell the team, so you got to make it profitable. So
before I jump off, Cubs will be fine. Just fucking, they suck right now, but things will be all right. Hopefully they get healthy. Hopefully it's not too serious with the injuries, but we'll see. I'm just 10 games in. I just don't. I can't fucking go nuts. You know what I mean? I've seen teams do this before. You know what I mean? And go on a run. Baseball's different. Like, I can't get fucking upset. 2 weeks, I can't get upset. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like it takes some time.
It does take some time. It does take some time. So,
all right, boys.
All right, Ivan.
See you later.
All right. We're going to take a quick break, and on the flip side, we are going to talk about our Chicago baseball teams, how the White Sox are doing, and the Cubs, who actually lost today, are doing, and we'll talk about all that and some numbers. So we'll be right back after a word from our sponsor.
Hey there, Chicago enthusiasts. Are you ready to take your fandom to the next level? The True Chicago Sports Fan Podcast has got you covered with some serious cool merch that screams Chicago pride. From cozy sweaters to trendy tank tops, we got it all. Show off your love for the city with our iconic red, white, and blue logo, or stand out with our exclusive collection for the love of sports. Whether you're lounging at home, breaking a sweat at the gym, or cheering on your team at a game, our gear is a must-have for all you diehard Chicago sports fans out there. Don't hesitate. Visit bonfire.com/store/606-media-store/, or simply just click the link in the description and snag your gear ASAP. Get ready to make some noise, show your pride, and embrace the Chicago spirit with True Chicago Sports Fan Podcast merch. Designed for you, the ultimate fan, for the love of sports. Hey guys, it's Steven.
And this is Sean, and you are listening to True Chicago Sports Fans.
Don't forget to listen to No War on the Weekend. New episodes on Monday. You can find us anywhere you listen to podcasts.
Yeah, so we're going to go do a couple of shots. So let's kick it back over to Big Z.
The True Chicago Sports Fans Podcast with Big Z and JC, Dynasty Fantasy Football. And it is time to talk about our Chicago baseball teams. And it was a great weekend for the White Sox. And too bad I even had to jump off because he was with me all week, especially on opening day with me at the Cell or G-Rate or the G-Spot, whatever you want to call it. We had a great time. We had nice weather. It was like 60 degrees, not a cloud in sight for a while. It was great. And, they took all three. They brought out the brooms and swept the Blue Jays, the American League champions, and held them very, very, very tightly there. So just some numbers out there. Team ERA 228 for this weekend, a whip of 105, 31 strikeouts in 3 games. The opponent average was 198. They didn't just pitch, they suffocated Toronto. The White Sox batted 276, 18 runs in 3 games. They were 7 for 18 in scoring position, with runners in scoring position. That's clutch hitting. So you're looking at guys like Mooney, who hit another shot, Montgomery, who hit a shot, Vargas, who hit some timely 2-out hitting. Like I said, Montgomery was 5 for 12 with a 417 average this weekend, 2 doubles, 3 ribbies, OBP of 500. That's production. Murakami, 3 for 10. He took 2 walks. So don't look at just the 3 for 10. He had a homer and slug over 600. If that ball jumps out of the ballpark in the summer, so wait till it warms up. And again, I know I predicted 25 homers, and I hope I'm wrong. I'm hoping he hits 35 to 40. Definitely do that. Vargas 4 for 11, 364, 4 ribbies, 2 clutch hits over the weekend in running scoring position. Very reliable bat right now. The Blue Jays were 3 for 22 for 136 average, left 21 runners on base. So again, I know it's 10 games, like Ivan said, but they started 1-5, took 3. They're 4-5. They were matching exactly with the Cubs record to the point today. The Cubs did lose, and the Sox are down 2-0 in the 6th at the moment to the Orioles. They're at home. But again, this was completely different from what you saw on the road against 2 of the good teams. Miami was pretty hot as they went to go play in Miami, and they played the American League Central Brewers. So, and even the manager from the Brewers said they're going to be a team to reckon with. So, JC, what's your impression of the White Sox so far?
You know what? I said it in the offseason, you know, you guys are a young team that's coming together, and you know, just from the end of last year, right? I mean, you look at what they did at the end of the year, how many games they were winning, like something special was brewing down there. You know, I hate the White Sox. I'm a Cubs fan. But you can respect and say, hey, you know what? They got something going down there. And even though they were terrible last year, like it looks like they're going to have the number 1 pick. They're going to have a stud coming in. So, I mean, all things are pointing up for you guys. And as a Cubs fan, like I hate it because it's one of those where like we are last in our division right now and we're spending how much money? And then you look at the White Sox and what they're doing and how much money are they spending?
A lot less.
And you know, not to jump to the Cubs too quickly, but we got a manager that can't even chew freaking tobacco correctly.
I saw that.
I mean, come on.
The White Sox do have a bit of an injury bug. Drew Thorpe is on the 15 IL. You've got Mike Vassell. It looks like I thought he was done. He's going through Tommy John. Prelando Barrera on the IL 15. Kyle Teal they haven't said when he's coming back. He's on a 10-day IL. Brooks Baldwin went down earlier this year, and they brought up another bat. You're looking at Brooks Baldwin played everywhere, so he's on every one of these plays. Everson Pereira went down prior to the I think it might have been his opening day or the day before. He's on the IL for 10 days. So they do have a bit of an injury bug, but they're plugging and playing. They brought in where's the shortstop? That guy. He came up. He played Tanner Murray. 26, had a spectacular play in the hole on Sunday on Easter. Happy Easter to everybody that celebrated. Acuna made a diving catch. My job is my job. Montgomery's Montgomery, right? Lenin Sosa is starting to warm up. You got these guys that are not big names doing big things. Miguel Vargas is feeling comfortable at third. He made a spectacular play at third the other day. Carroll, happy birthday, Edgar Carroll. He's 22, I believe. No, 20, 24, 25, something like that. He's still young. 23. There you go. He's 23. Your catcher's 23. And wait till Kyle Teal comes back. But again, the opening roster of pitching, the rotation struggled in the first 2 series. They used Grant Taylor, who was a high draft pick, to start 3 out of 4 games. He started opening day, Saturday, and then started today, and literally gave up no runs. So Grant Taylor doing something that the White Sox have never done with in recent history. I think back in the 60s and the 40s where they had a guy to start like 4 games in a row. But you got a manager thinking outside the box. And I think if the White Sox can hold position, stay around 500 while they are cultivating this new breed of pitching that's going to be coming up pretty soon. Your Wilkerman Gonzalez, your Tyler Gilbert, your Tanner McDougal, Sean Newcomb is down there. Like they got some veterans down there as well. Who's my other guy? What am I thinking? Why can't I think of it right now? Kyle Busch, who's on IL for 60 games, but where is my guy? Shane Smith. He's on the club. Oh, he's not on a 40 man. That's what I'm looking at. But if you look at the rest of the pitchers that they're going to be bringing up, it's going to be nasty by the time they get to June and July. And if some of these bats can if they can trade Benintendi, because I've been saying that for a while. He's just like the Bulls, Vucevic. He's just on the team for no reason. But once they go into and look at what they have in the minors, bringing them up, it's going to be nasty. All right. Let's see. One more thing I want to mention about the White Sox on opening day. They did a ceremony, not a ceremony, but they had Scott Podsednik in the pregame booth, and he read a letter from the chairman, pretty much congratulating Ozzie Guillen on everything he's contributed to the White Sox. 2005 World Series manager, 3-time All-Star, Gold Glove hitter, Gold Glove winner. Rookie of the Year, career 264 hitter. What he's been to and what he meant to the city, and then Scotty kind of just started stumbling and alluded that his number will be retired on August 8th at home, and you had Ozzie crying, and it was phenomenal, dude. Phenomenal to see the manager who won the World Series, guy who pretty much spent 99% of his career, baseball playing career, with the White Sox, and then came to coach the team and bring him to the World Series, get his number retired, rightfully so. A Chicago guy through and through. Any memories of Ozzie, JC?
Again, I'm not a Sox fan, so I didn't really, all I know is half the time, Ozzie, he'd go out there and say something, and I'd be like, what did he say?
His English is getting a lot better.
No, it's gotten a lot better, but I'm saying when I was a kid, when he was the manager at the time, it was just dude, his interviews were
yeah, go ahead.
His interviews were just horrible. And you'd be sitting there okay, I need a translator over here. But yes, his English has gotten so much better. And you know what? Good for him. You know what? Player and manager getting his number retired. And I know he's special to the organization. He's been around for a long time, still doing commentating and stuff like that for the White Sox. And good for him. Like I said, I didn't follow his career very much. Obviously, again, I'm not a White Sox fan, but it's one of those, you can respect a guy that has been around the organization for as long as he has, and what it means to him. Because again, you can go back and watch the video as they're reading the letter, and then they bring in his wife, and then he hugs his wife, and he's literally crying like a baby.
Yeah.
And that's what it means, when you put your heart and soul into an organization and you love an organization and they show you the respect back and they show you love back, that's all that matters.
Yeah, let me see if I can share this really quickly. See, click to exit full screen. Okay. All right. Well, let's just play it right there. See if I got sound.
The 2005 World Series hero, Scott Podsednik.
I miss you, bro.
Good to be back.
That's all.
Good to be back.
All right, sir.
You're here on the set with us. You got a box. I have no idea what this is all about.
I don't know what this is about. I have been asked to read what is in this envelope right here. Without further ado, we're going to get right to it.
Okay.
Can you read?
If it's in English, I can read it.
Okay, because I can read English, Spanish, or any language.
Okay. I don't know what this
We
is.
just can't understand it.
Well, we don't know what it is either. We're in suspense here.
I like how he tries to be nosy, hey, what is that?
The Chicago White Sox announced today that 2005 World Series winning manager Ozzie Guillen will be honored on Saturday, August 8th.
I know that bobblehead.
With a special ceremony retiring his number 13 uniform.
No way.
The shortstop who
You
played
see him
for
trying to hold it.
13 seasons with the White Sox will be the 13th player in franchise history to have his number retired and first manager.
Oh, that is amazing.
Mr. Ozzie Guillen, your legacy will be forever etched.
Oh my God. Where's my wife?
He's right here. He's right here. Beavis.
Oh my.
Oh my God.
All right, I don't want to get but that is courtesy of Chicago Sports Network, CSN, on their YouTube channel. I want to give them credit for we get flagged or anything like that. So again,
Yeah, I was gonna say, sharing a YouTube channel, I'm sure we're gonna get flagged.
yeah, we're gonna get flagged.
But you know what? Well worth it. You know,
It was well worth it. It brought a tear to people, all the White Sox fans. I
was gonna say, you look like you're about to cry.
Oh man, it was emotional. It was one of my favorite players of my youth, of growing up. I mean, I got to see Ozzie play at the old Comiskey. He was always super nice to me. I know people had different interactions with him. I didn't. I thought it was great. And every time I met him, he's been great. And I have pictures that we've taken together and they're signed. So I got nothing but respect for a man that was one of my favorite players growing up. And once we drafted Frank, I kind of went over to Frank, and Frank being my favorite player. But Ozzie was the grinder, and he brought that to the 2005 World Series White Sox. Watching some issue with not issue, but the same kind of reaction when Rhino got inducted and into the Hall of Fame, and he got the ceremony with this. Definitely something that I love to see, because that's another player that I grew up watching as a kid, getting home right after school, and Channel 9 was on, and at the end of the Cubs game, and I saw the Rhino game. These
I don't know if we lost Big Z there. It looks like he might have frozen up.
I'm still here.
You're that, or I'm frozen. One of the two.
Yeah, it's popping back and forth. Let me see if I can.
Little internet connectivity lag there. But yeah, I mean, you know what, Ozzie Guillen, well deserved. I think, again, for all White Sox fans, you guys are going to appreciate it. You're going to love it. Looks like it'll be, is it this week on Wednesday?
No, August 8th. August 8th.
Oh, August 8th. Okay. I'm sorry. I thought it was April 8th. But it would make more sense to, give it some time and, plan things accordingly.
Have some good weather.
Yep. Well, you never know. Well, August is usually pretty solid.
Pretty solid. Yeah. It'll be a hot one. Let's transition over to the Cubbies, who struggled this week. Yeah, I mean, no, we got to cover it, because I don't want to hear people, oh, you only talk about the White Sox. Come on, there's been a lot more Cubs talk in recent episodes than there have been the White Sox. But again, they split the series with Cleveland. They won their last game with, was it 2 hits, 1 run? You're paying all this money for these bats, and it's just not doing what it's supposed to. They hit 207 with 6 runs in 3 games, 2 for 17 with runners in scoring positions, 29 strikeouts. That's not winning baseball when you're hitting 200 or below. Bregman, 2 for 11, 0 ribbies, hasn't shown up. Cade Horn he left crying. He pulled himself out. It looks like he has some bicep injury. He's going to be on
they were saying forearm. I don't know if they changed it, but supposedly, in an interview after the game, he said he felt something like in his wrist area, and then it went up his forearm, according to him. But literally, when you're a Cubs fan and you're sitting there watching your pitcher get pulled out and he's literally crying, like, first thoughts in my mind were like, here comes Tommy John. So, but luckily it sounds like a 15-day IL stint. That's huge. That we didn't lose him for the whole season. Hopefully he comes back 100%.
I would definitely.
We don't need to bring him back and then have him injure something again.
No.
Horton last year, towards the end of the season, was an absolute stud. As far as I'm concerned right now, he is probably our number 1 pitcher in our rotation. So if we had lost him, that would have been an absolute knife in the heart. for the Cubs.
Right, because you already have Boyd down. Steele still not going to be. You don't know what Steele's going to be when he comes back.
Nope. Yeah.
Some issues.
Shota's kind of fallen off over the past, year and a half. And not to say like Shota's still ringing up, strikeouts and everything else.
But can he last the whole season? That's the issue.
Right. And I think with his velo, I think with his movement, I think, with his quick pitch, whatever, people have figured him out, and he needs to adjust. And I don't know if he's willing to do the work to make the adjustments. He hasn't so far, as far as we can tell. Like I said, Talion had a pretty rough outing.
Cabrera's the only one that's been having a good outing all season. 2 starts, 12 innings pitched, 2 earned runs, 14 Ks, ERA 150.
Yeah.
It can't be all him. It can't be all him.
No, and part of the issue is like I said, the Cubs, they're streaky, right? So we're playing the Angels, we win 6-2. We're playing the Guardians, we lose 4-1. Play the Guardians, win 1-0. Play the Guardians, lose 6-5. Right? So, play the Angels, win 7-2. Play the Angels, lose 2-0. So it's like our bats show up on certain games, and then other games, not so much. And that's like, you can't win if you're not consistent. And right now our bats are not being consistent. Like, we're putting points on the board in certain games, and then other games we can't get a hit or a run for our lives. I did see a stat earlier in the week about like hard hitting percentage, and like the Cubs were the number 2 team on like hard hitting percentage. So basically, like it sounds like the Cubs are like tearing the cover off the ball, but the ball is basically being hit directly to the outfielder, like not into the gaps, not into the corners. Like basically, we are swinging so hard and hitting the ball so hard, but it's going directly to the outfielder. And this is why I say is like, ever since the World Series, like we live and die by the long ball, especially because Wrigley is such a small field. But I need some guys that can just put the ball in play.
Yeah, I think a lot of that is what you need. You need the ball. You need to go base to base and do small ball for a little bit. Bregman was another issue where he would get these ding hits off the wall in Boston, and you can't do that in Wrigley. You have the wind blowing in aggressively, especially in April and early May. That wind is blowing in, it's knocking stuff down. You're not going to get one off the wall, off the green monster, and get a double. That's not just happening here, right? You've got to be able to put the ball in play. Swanson, he started pretty good at the beginning of the season, not so much now. PCA's late on everything right now. His timing is completely off. Michael Bush, I don't know where you are. Like the bats are just ice cold right now. Yeah. And I don't know what's going to happen. And then Sale,
that and the one guy who, you count on in Saya, because he's kind of your small ball move guys along hitter.
Yeah.
He's out right now.
Yeah, he comes back next week on April 10th, I'm assuming. That's if everything goes well with his next IL stint. I mean, his rehab stint. He went 3 for 4.
Yeah, so it's one of those, like I said, you're putting a little bit of hope and a little bit of, when Saya comes back, because also like then does Saya play outfield? Bregman's had some errors at third. Shaw's playing out of position, and Alcantara's tearing it up in AAA. So it's one of those where, we got some things going on that, might cause some movement around with the team.
Well, Michael Conforto was a Band-Aid on a head wound right now with Sale being out, and that's why he made the team. And that's why Alcantara got sent down.
Yeah.
Once Saya's back, you can get DFA Conforto, and bring Alcantara back and have that rotation of Matt Shaw, Suzuki, PCA, Ian Happ, and Alcantara just rotating in and out between that and playing DH. So there's a lot you can do once you get Alcantara back on there. But right now, you've got 2 out of your 5 pitchers on the IL and that is huge right now for your starting rotation, not including Steele and everybody else.
Yeah, I mean, it's rough. And what have I been saying for years? Draft pitching, draft. And the Cubs keep drafting outfielders. I don't know how many times I can sit there and scream about, we need to draft pitching, and then, we're drafting another outfielder.
Well, you guys are not known for drafting and developing pitching. You guys are known by trading for and signing pitchers. So you
correct, and we usually have the payroll for it,
right?
But we just signed PCA, we just signed Horner, we just signed Swanson, Bregman, so we don't have the salary to go out and sign big free agent arms, really. I mean, unless they're really going to put some more money out there over the 280 million and put us into the luxury, I don't see it.
Yeah, right now the bullpen has been trash for you guys. Hunter Harvey, Phil Malton, Caleb Thibar, Obi Milner, Minor, and Jacob Webb. It's been pretty bad. Let's just be honest. It's been pretty bad, but that's because the starting pitching has put them in bad position. So again, it's 10 days. You don't want to overreact with either team winning or either team losing. It's just we're excited baseball's back and we get to talk about it, and it's fun to talk about our favorite baseball teams and rub it into the other side. But it's 10 games, guys. It's 10 games. It's
yeah. No, I'm not freaking out yet. If you remember correctly, everybody was saying we're Cubs should go 90 wins or whatever. And you remember I said let's pump the brakes, and I said I believe it was like 84 or 83.
84, 83?
My prediction, so like I said, I kind of went into this year where it's like, you know what, like let's see what happens here.
I still think they win 92 games, somewhere around that area. So again, there's a lot that has to happen. Looking at the schedule, you are playing Tampa Bay for another 2 games. And then you are playing at home versus Pittsburgh on Friday the 10th, 11th, and 12th. Should be a great great series. Let's see who you're going against. Okay, you're not going against their number 1. So you have Imanaga, Cabrera, and Taillon scheduled for those 3 games, and you're not facing their big horse. So should be okay, but Pittsburgh's pretty good right now. What is the latest standings?
For the Cubs, we're in last.
I mean, you're 4. What is it? 4 and 6. Yeah, 4 and 6. Yeah, but everybody's around 500. Oh no, look at that. The Brewers are 7 and 2. So I don't feel bad losing to the Brewers as a White Sox. The Reds, surprising Reds, 7 and 3. The Pirates 6 and 3. The Pirates might scare somebody this year if they don't trade off their assets and just keep on adding, because they have the bullpen. O'Neill Cruz, I've seen some lowlights of him messing up in the outfield.
Yeah. There's been some issues for the Pirates in the outfield for sure.
Yeah, not communicating. I mean,
but again, like this is what I talk about, right? It's like we spend $280 million on our payroll, and we are in 5th place in the Central.
I mean,
like, you know what? If I were the Cubs organization and the owners, and I saw that we are spending $280 million, and the Brewers are beating us, the Reds, the Pirates, the Cardinals, I think I'd be calling for some heads.
The White Sox payroll is $107 million. St. Louis 111, Washington 114, and Pittsburgh 119. The Cubs are top 9, under 9, $246 million, more than double.
Right. Like I said, if I'm paying my payroll double that, and again, I understand, like, we didn't necessarily think Shota was going to sign. That's $20 million, that we kind of didn't think was going to be on the books for us, which I mean, look, now that Cade Horton's down, you know, it's a good thing that we have Shota still. But at the same time, like, when you have teams that are paying half the salary of you, and right now they're 7-2, and you're 4-6, that's not a good look.
Well, there's a lot of teams that are struggling. And HD, thanks for commenting. Yeah, it's okay to disagree. And again, I've seen a lot of most of these Cubs games, not all of the games, but the times I have seen it, I've seen either you have your manager not pulling the pitcher when they should have pulled them, or like you said, they're in the lead and then the bullpen blows it, or vice versa. Just all around, the pitching is just not there. And then you exacerbate it with the hitting not being there, and that's why you're in the record you're at with 4-6. But you have other teams that spent way more money. Philly, they're 5-4, spending $309 million. Toronto's 4-5. They lost again today to the Dodgers. They're $308 million. Boston's 2-7, spending $264. San Diego's 4-5, spending $255. Atlanta's 6-4. The Cubs are 4-5. Detroit's 4-5. San Francisco 3-7. I mean, there's teams out there. Baltimore at 3-6. I think they might be winning this game. They probably did win it. I haven't checked. Yeah, White Sox are down 2-0 in the bottom of the 8th, so they might win that. But it's early. It's early. So
yeah. No, and that's the thing is, you know, as said, Wrigley Field wind blows in right now in April. Dog days of summer, you know, the ball is going to pop off the bats, which, you know, is not necessarily a good thing either for the Cubs, because if the ball's popping off the bats, it could easily pop off your opponent's bats just as easily as yours.
Right.
That said, you know, the one thing I need to look at, because I know opening day, Matt Shaw was looking lost out there in right field. I don't know if he's improved at all.
Unfortunately, wasn't any better, bro. And he's a proven outfielder. So again, those swirling winds at Wrigley are nothing to play with. Even veterans get, you know, turned around over there. It'll be fine. It will be fine once Alcantara's out there, Sale's DHing, and they have their actual rotation of players moving back and forth. So everyone just relax. It's only 10 games, 2 weeks into the season. It's going to be a fun ride for both sides of town. JC, well, let's take another quick break. And on the flip side, we're going to talk about some other notes that happened. We've got some Sky notes. We got some Bears notes. And we'll talk a little Illini, and then we'll get out of here. So we'll do all that on the other side of this commercial breaks. Don't go anywhere. Stay right here. We'll be right back.
Hey there, Chicago enthusiasts. Are you ready to take your fandom to the next level? The True Chicago Sports Fan Podcast has got you covered with some serious cool merch that screams Chicago pride. From cozy sweaters to trendy tank tops, we got it all. Show off your love for the city with our iconic red, white, and blue logo, or stand out with our exclusive collection for the love of sports. Whether you're lounging at home, breaking a sweat at the gym, or cheering on your team at a game, our gear is a must-have for all you diehard Chicago sports fans out there. Don't hesitate. Visit bonfire.com/store/606-media-store/, or simply just click the link in the description and snag your gear ASAP. Get ready to make some noise, show your pride, and embrace the Chicago spirit with True Chicago Sports Fan Podcast merch. Designed for you, the ultimate fan, for the love of sports. Hey guys, it's Steven.
And this is Sean, and you are listening to True Chicago Sports Fans.
Don't forget to listen to No War on the Weekend. New episodes on Monday. You can find us anywhere you listen to podcasts.
Yeah, so we're going to go do a couple of shots. So let's kick it back over to Big Z.
No Water on the Weekend.
The TCSF podcast with Big Z and JC. And let's do some notes really quick, some quick notes. I know it won't be quick because we're never quick. But JC, what's going on with the Bears Stadium saga?
Basically, from what I read today, is that they basically have decided, like, over the next week or two, if the Chicago and Illinois assembly does not pass something, they're going to Indiana. From what I'm reading, so basically the Bears are, you know, They came out a week ago and said, "Oh, we're in no rush. Sometime before fall, we'll know a decision." Now all of a sudden, I'm hearing like, if we don't know in the next week or two, like we're moving on. And you know what? Illinois is playing games, and they're going to win stupid prizes if they keep playing games. And you know what? I don't blame Illinois. I don't blame the Bears. At the end of the day, though, if the Bears cross the state line, I will no longer be a Bears fan. I'm saying it here. I'm saying it now. I've got plenty of fantasy football players on other teams that I can root for. I've got probably 3 or 4 players on the Rams. I've got, San Francisco players. I'll root for somebody else.
You'll be a football fan and not of a team.
Exactly. I won't have to buy merch. I won't have to cheer for one specific team. As much as I love the Bears and whatever, but if you disrespect me as a fan, if you disrespect Illinois after 100 years of being in Illinois just for financial gain and whatever, and again, I understand Illinois is being difficult. They are being absolutely fiscally like irresponsible, because if they lose the Bears to another state, that's 16 games of revenue. They lose an entire district in Arlington Heights that could be bringing in millions of dollars, whether it be NCAA tournaments, whether it be WrestleManias, whether it be concerts year round.
Yep.
In an indoor dome stadium. Like, don't get me wrong, they can still fix up Soldier Field, put some sort of roof over the top, which will cost millions of dollars more, and turn that into some sort of, venue as well.
But they don't own it. That's the issue. They don't own it. That money doesn't go to them.
No, I'm not saying for the Bears. I'm not saying for the Bears.
Okay.
I'm saying for Chicago to make revenue from concerts, from other things. They really need to make it an enclosed stadium like Soldier Field. They need to do something to close the roof that they can then have concerts in November, December, January, February. Like, they can have events all year round. And that's the problem, is like, that's why the Bears want to own their own stadium, is because then they can have Beyonce concerts, etc., and make money off of the concessions and the everything else.
Yeah, and the parking and all the merch. Yeah, especially when the merch is sold at your stadium, you keep the money for the merch. The 2 proposed sites in Chicago are not feasible, which were obviously next to Soldier Field for political reasons. Friends of the lake, the lakefront, all that stuff. Friends of the park or the lake, whatever. They protect the lake. And the Michael Reese was evaluated and rejected by the NFL and the Bears. So they said no to that. So it's going to be the Indiana Bears pretty soon if Illinois doesn't get their shit together. So definitely
I can't imagine that it'll happen, because again, if Illinois fumbles the ball like this, I'm sorry, like, as a voting Illinois person, I would vote out everyone I could that has anything to do with this. Because again, I understand. Yes. All right. You don't want us, the tax-paying citizens, to have an issue with $1 billion, whatever, building sites, etc. That you don't want taxpayers being liable for stuff like this. I understand that. But think about the restaurants, the hotels, the gambling money, the entertainment district, all that surrounds the stadium.
It's just both sides are being greedy. Both sides are being greedy, and I understand what they're doing. But also, the state of Illinois can be like, hey, we're going to loan you this money. You're going to pay every cent back. We're going to loan it to you. You're paying every cent back. We'll do the infrastructure. We will do that. Here's your loan. Get your NFL loan. That's 2 loans right there. Okay. If you build that gigantic stadium, again, we both agree it's got to be bigger than the 65,000 or 66,000 they're thinking. It's got to be 75 and above. 75,000, and they can still put another concert venue that houses 10 to 12,000, like a small all-state arena. Then you have your sports book, your hotels, your shopping center, anything you want to do there. You can put an outdoor stage out there for the summer, for summer series concerts. Kind of like what Milwaukee does with the
like Windy City Smoke Fest.
Out. Boom. Yeah, exactly. You're gonna pull all of those things because it's gonna have parking availability. It's going to have a bigger space, a bigger new.
Oh wait, you have a train station right there.
Yep.
Like they're again so the problem with Soldier Field has always been it is pushed up against the lake, right? And really you only have 2 or 3 ways of exit: Lakeshore North, Lakeshore South, and then 290.
I mean,
so like
you have to walk.
Right.
Yeah.
So the problem is then once you get on 290, like it is a shit show. It's an hour and a half.
Yep.
To get anywhere on the highway as a Bears fan to get back home. Like it takes like 2 hours to get home because the highway is just screwed up because every like 70,000 people are leaving and they only have one way to go. So again, Arlington Heights to me is the best location. I understand Arlington Heights, people that live there, some of them are not thrilled, because again, you're having an influx on the weekends of 70,000 people, causing a lot of traffic, causing a lot of whatever. But again, you have a train stop there. A lot of people can come from the city on the Metro and get off right there and walk in. All right. Tailgating. If there's tailgating, plenty of space to tailgate out there. No problems with that. Right? Again, hotels, restaurants, you name it. Like it can be a weekend destination. Again, people can fly into O'Hare. They can stay at the hotels. They can go to the Beyonce concert. It can be a whole thing. And even if people stay in Rosemont, they stay where?
Is the internet going out again?
You're frozen, but I'm okay.
Yeah, it's going back and out. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I've had those issues as well. So it happens from time to time. Again, if it goes to Indiana, I just, as a fan, I don't know how I'm going to deal with it because it's one of those, like, I honestly, the Bears have never won. Like, yes, we went to the Super Bowl the one year in Indianapolis against Indy, but really, like, my entire adult life, the Bears have sucked. Like, why, if they go to Indiana, and I understand, like, oh, it's still close, it's only 30 minutes over the, no, you are now the Indianapolis or Indiana Bears. All right. You are not the Chicago Bears. You're not even the Illinois Bears. And I understand, like, so it's like the St. Louis Rams, when they moved to LA, St. Louis fans, they maybe some of them stayed and were still Rams fans, but at the end of the day, like, I'm sorry. Like, I don't need to support you with my money and my dollars. I might still watch the games, but again, like, I'll cheer for a team that's actually won something in a decade.
Yeah, it's going to be a hard pill to swallow if they do move out of the state. And again, let's put some good juju out there. Hopefully Illinois realizes they need the Bears in Illinois and they keep them there. So we covered the Illinois basketball team last Monday, correct? If I'm correct, we did cover them losing, correct?
We I don't believe we covered them losing. But we did talk about, how, we're paying Europeans to come over and play for us.
Okay.
Stuff like that. But no, we did not cover them losing.
Yeah, they obviously they lost. this past weekend, right? They shot 48%. It was not good again, and I think a lot of it has to do with shooting inside of a football stadium rather a basketball stadium. I think it's a different depth perception thing. That can be definitely something that, because I know that the Michigan State team was shooting at the football field to get that depth perception. I don't know if you saw that, JC.
No, I did not see that.
Yeah, their coaches had them shooting in Michigan, in the Michigan State football stadium, so they can learn how to gauge the depth perception with the clear backboard as well. But again, the game was a bad game. They shot under 48% early, and I think it was in the 30s. Most of the game.
I mean, let's face it. UConn has always been a good college basketball team, throughout the years. And Illinois, they're coming along. So I'll say, do we have some hopes for them? Absolutely, yes. We always have hopes for like Northwestern every couple of years. Who's the other Illinois team with the famous female nun?
Oh, the Ramblers.
Yeah.
The Loyola Ramblers.
Every couple of years they play pretty well in the tournament. But when you go up against the Dukes, the UConns, some of those teams, it's hard.
It is, and then there's a lot of guys that will be leaving Illinois this year for the NBA. I'm assuming Keaton Wagler is gonna go. He had a pretty good series, tournament. I'm sorry. If it's I can never say his name. IVISIC. Yeah, I can never say his name, even though I've heard it multiple times over the tournament. And then the Stojakovic is probably another player that's going to leave, right? So there's a lot of these legacy kids that are coming into the college basketball and doing a couple years and then dipping. So it's going to be a tough battle to get back to where they were and what they did. I mean, again, they were playing with house money, and we were all cheering for them to get it to the championship game, which is going on right now. But I have to turn off the TV because the internet's going off. But it was a great run. Proud of Illinois getting that far. We weren't even supposed to be there, but they're going to have to deal with better recruiting because they're going to lose some pieces, important pieces this year to the NBA. So wishing all those boys a successful draft and hopefully get drafted by good teams in good positions. But Illinois basketball looks like to probably be taking a step back next year. And my final note before we punch out of here is that Chicago Sky have made a trade with the Atlanta Dream. Angel Reese has been traded to the Sky after 2 seasons and 2 All-Star teams and led the league in rebounding twice. I'm just going off stats. Let's not get into that. I don't want to get into that. We're going to keep it under 130 today. The compensation is 2 first-rounders and a swap of a second-rounder in 2028. Again, this has to do with a lot of her off the basketball stuff, in my opinion, being vocal that what she wants and when she wants it, and that she wants to be here for her career. But if it doesn't pan out, she might have to go in a different direction and do what's best for her. She's been very vocal that, she doesn't get paid enough and she can't afford her lifestyle. Change your lifestyle. I'm hoping that the Chicago Sky are taking these picks and building with Cordorsa and everyone else that's on the team. I wish Angel Reese the best. I'm just glad it's not with the Chicago Sky anymore.
Yeah, I will not keep it classy as Big Z. Baby giraffe, uncoordinated giraffe. I wish you the best. Goodbye. I will miss the videos of the guys on YouTube screaming bang as you miss 30 freaking layups every single game. I'm sorry, the me bounds, you could take your freaking me bounded copyrighted whatever and take that shit to Atlanta. All right. I'm sorry. I do not care about you. You know what? You had an inflated ego the entire time you were here. You are not as good as you think you are. And I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, definitely not as good as she thinks she is. Well, I guess on that note, we'll end it. Again, the Chicago Bulls fired the entire staff. White Sox, it looks like they've been turning around. The Cubs are hurting right now. And lots more to talk about with the Chicago Bears when that breaks. We'll definitely go on air and break that all down for you. So for Ivan and JC, I am Big Z. And we'll see you next time for episode 300, dude. 300 weekly episodic shows. That's insane. So we'll see when we can do that show for you. It might be either this Sunday or next Monday. I'm not sure yet because our schedules are so jam-packed right now, especially since I'm coaching.
Over the next couple of weeks, I'm
traveling
in New Orleans. I'm back. I'm golfing on a Saturday. I've got tons of stuff going on. So
all right, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. But it's a great show. Thanks to Ivan and JC for jumping on today. You can find us on our socials or right down there, wherever that thing goes. Yeah, they're all down there. True Chicago Sports Fans at gmail.com. If you've got a question, a comment, or something to talk about, or you want to start sponsoring us, that works. Hit us up there. Thank you to our other sponsors, 606 Media and True Chicago Sports Fans page. And we'll see you next week. Till then, be good to each other for the love of sports.